This is one of my favorite matches of all time. I'm very biased towards this match. I'm a big Anderson Silva fan. So when this fight was happening, my boy calls me and he's like, look, is this your champion? You know, he's I still think he's the greatest, although Jon Jones, also the greatest. Jon Jones is more of a polarizing figure. I also think Jon Jones has beat higher level guys, but I don't think we can blame somebody for the era that they came up in, right? So like,
yeah,
if you come up in an era where everybody's not as good, but you're still the best in that era, it's still worth something, right? There's gonna be somebody in the future that comes in that could probably kill everybody in this era. Hard enough as that is to believe.
His name's Shavkat Rakhmonov. He's gonna kill everybody. This fight's really fun. It came at a really good time in history when Anderson Silva had joined the UFC. He fought in Japan, he was fighting in England, killing these guys, but kind of thinking about quitting. Comes to the UFC, dominates, goes on a streak, destroys Chris Lieben, destroys Rich Franklin. It's hard for like people who aren't watching at the time to understand like how dominant Anderson Silva was at the time.
Yes.
Like how many years had he been, how many times had we seen him absolutely destroying legends?
Chris Lieben, KO, knee, round 1. Rich Franklin, KO, knee, round 1. Travis Lutter, TKO, submission, elbows,
He had him
round
in
2.
a triangle choke and destroying him with elbows like this. So what we're getting at is at the time, Anderson Silva was on a huge streak of destruction. And it took a weird turn when he had a fight with Patrick Cote. And Patrick Cote, his knee just got injured for like seemingly no reason. He just, I can't fight anymore.
Patrick Cote, TKO, injury, round 3. So.
And then after that, Thales Latis. Anderson Silva had a very boring fight with Thales Latis. I don't know exactly what's going on with this. And then after that, he goes up a weight class to destroy former champion Forrest Griffin. So everyone's excited. This guy's back. He's incredible.
Forrest Griffin felt clowned in that fight.
He looked clowned in that fight.
He said he felt stupid for trying to punch Silva.
I tried to punch him. And he literally moved his head out of the way and looked at me like I was stupid for doing it. He looked at me like, why would you do such a stupid thing? He looked at me like, oh, did you really think you were going to hit me? What a stupid thing to think, you slow white boy. And then he punched me. And I felt embarrassed for even trying to punch him.
Oh my God!
But then, unfortunately, Anderson Silva followed up with a very, very boring, disappointing fight.
Kind of controversial
with a guy
fight.
named Damian Maia. Damian Maia is a jiu-jitsu master. If you go to the ground with him, you're dead. But everybody knows if you stand with him, you have a good chance. Anderson Silva is one of the best strikers ever. So what everyone thought would happen would be a spectacular knockout from Anderson Silva, some crazy combo, but he didn't do it. He was very disrespectful to Damian Maia.
He was yelling at him.
He was yelling at him. He was talking to him. He punched him in the knee. You know how disrespectful that is? A man's face is here. You could hit it, but you just hit him in the knee
like
to do no damage.
You can't do anything to me. He hit him with a flying knee, like beautiful, one of the most beautiful moves ever you've seen, and then he just keeps goes back to talking like, you know what, I'm not even gonna fight you.
So rude, so hard to watch. And so to follow that up with this incredible fight with Chael Sonnen, where Anderson Silva, he's unbeatable, he's amazing, but he's had some weird fights. Yes. He's at a weird spot.
Chael Sonnen's a wrestler. He's on a streak too, but he's nowhere near like the hype and streakiness of Silva. And we're watching, expecting to see Anderson smoke him.
Nobody really knew who Chael Sonnen was. He had beaten Nate Marquardt, which is huge and legitimate, but I didn't know him at the time.
It starts out, they're going back and forth, and Chael actually starts landing.
Shockingly, Chael Sonnen starts hitting Anderson Silva in the face beautifully. Like, he's never looked this good in any other fight. I don't know what to make of it. It was like a glitch in the Matrix. Chael Sonnen comes out and lands punches, and Anderson Silva gets a takedown. It's a very bizarre fight.
Yeah. He struggles back to get to get up Chael, and then at some point he just hits Anderson with a double, and it just looks like butter. He takes him down so easily, and then this is the story for the rest of the fight. Now, I later kind of figured out what was happening in this fight. I watched Like Water, and they hint at Anderson having a rib injury.
So nobody knew this when watching the fight. He didn't fight like a man with injured ribs.
Yeah.
He just looked like he was getting destroyed.
Yeah.
But I guess like he didn't take too much damage because he does that amazing like turn your head thing.
He rolls with them.
He rolls with punches incredibly, like one of the best ever. So it's hard to tell. Like it's hard to tell how hurt he was in the fight, but he was definitely losing. He was losing on every scorecard in the world until the last round.
The last like minute of the last round, he throws a Hail Mary.
Oh my God.
And it lands. This is one of the reasons why I love this fight, because it's a one-sided fight. Anderson is getting his ass kicked in the fight.
Destroyed.
Yeah. If I go back and look, now that I know Jiu-Jitsu, I didn't know Jiu-Jitsu at the time when I was watching that fight. I see that Anderson is he's always bringing his knees up to try, like he's about to set up a triangle. He's gauging Chael's tendencies.
Chael's got to be very careful if Anderson can control that wrist. He's got to be careful all the while, though, of submissions from the bottom. He's got to be careful for the triangle. That's setting him up for an armbar. When he's holding onto that elbow right there.
Yeah, Joe Rogan picks up on this. I didn't know it at the time, but it's really like impactful. Like to show the true power of that triangle choke. One of the first chokes that everybody should learn in Jiu-Jitsu. It takes like a lifetime to master. How's your triangle choke going?
It goes in waves.
Everybody out there is doing Jiu-Jitsu. You should have a better triangle choke.
It goes in waves.
Everybody. Yeah, he's talking to Big Nog, who's a big brother of Anderson Silva. Big Nog's like, oh, you're going to knock this guy out? I was like, no, I submission him.
He slowly sets up this triangle. Right at the end of the fight, he throws it up. And Chael seems almost comfortable in it at one point because he's a wrestler. I don't know how much, I'm sure he knows quite a bit of jiu-jitsu at this time, but Chael has also been comfortable in his guard for the whole match.
Yeah, most triangles Chael Sonnen can just posture out of.
Yeah.
Hands on the hips, sit nicely. Such a big, strong guy. But Anderson, he's incredible. So he gets the choke, makes it happen.
Yes. So
unbelievable.
It goes from the triangle, he's fighting out of the triangle, and it looks like he's getting the arm bar as well. So it's like a triangle arm bar. Chael taps after, like, imagine you're winning and like in his mind he sees the belt. Chael is letting him control that wrist as well.
Oh.
Anderson has been holding that wrist for like
a long time.
Yeah.
And landing strikes.
Yeah. See? Yeah, that's where he goes.
There we go.
He controlled that wrist for a long time. Wow. Sets up the triangle, Chael sits out, puts the leg over, good defense, and then Anderson goes armbar. And Chael's like, no, I didn't tap.
So
like,
crazy.
You tapped.
He definitely tapped.
That was a very like, don't break my arm tap. But he's like, this is it. The belt was in front of him, you know? That's the problem. The problem with this match is the belt was right there. He had it. He had the belt. Yeah, he was in disbelief. At 2 minutes of the last round.
23 minutes of domination by Chael Sonnen.
The belt was like right there. And he was already in a good position. He was already dominating him, ground and pounding him. He left that hand being wrist controlled for so long.
So long. So wrist control, feet on the hip, triangles.
Yeah, don't let that happen. After this, I mean, there was some jokes about how he dealt with it after this when he was talking about he didn't think it was a real sub or whatever. All the trolling he was doing.
And the way I thought it worked was that if you tapped, you lost that round. So I thought what they would do is they go to a judge's decision, they go 4 rounds to 1, and we go home and I'd be the new champion. And if anyone had explained to me that stops the bout in its entirety, I would not have tapped.
So really it's been more about just educating yourself on the rules this time around. And
it was a complete misunderstanding.
But this time, no misunderstanding.
Now I get it. I'd never been in a 5-round fight, so it was new. I just didn't know.
But right after the match, he says how devastated, how devastating this
Sure,
was.
you know, I'm devastated. I came in second. I worked hard and did what I could do and all that nice stuff. But at the end of the day, you either get your hand raised or you don't. And I didn't. And that's it. And I'll live with it. But I'm devastated.
Because even if you just have to get the belt once. Like even if you lose the next match, you're still forever a former champion, and that means something. So.
And I think Chael, his stock really skyrocketed after this, even in loss, because he was the first guy to dominate Anderson Silva, the first guy to maybe win anything over Anderson Silva.
Yes. I don't know. He's underrated to me, but
Anderson Silva underrated.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh.
I think so. People talk about Khabib over Silva.
Yeah, because Silva, we saw him lose a lot.
Exactly. So
it's such a bummer.
Every
time it sucks.
It's so hard to see somebody fall from that peak and not stop. And then because they have such a low, you can't remember what was happening before. So
yeah, we were even looking at Anderson Silva's all of his fights on the list. And the last couple, I don't even want to remember. Like I know the one with Stylebender was cool. I really liked that one. That one was like so poetic.
He beat Derek Brunson.
Stop, man.
He beat Derek Brunson. The Michael Bisping one.
So fun.
That was fun.
That's just a highlight reel. That's like a best of. Tour.
So disappointing how he hits Bisping and walks off, and then Bisping comes back and wins.
Crazy. Yeah, I really like that. I think that's a good loss.
Yeah.
Like you throw everything at this guy and he wins in his hometown, right there in England. Judge's decision.
The Nick Diaz fight was a fun fight.
That was fun
as well. Yeah, that was a fun fight. But after the Nick Diaz fight, Anderson pops, so it's deemed a no contest.
Which makes sense. It was only like a year or so after he broke his leg against Chris Weidman, right?
Yeah.
And so they're like, "You're on steroids." Like, yeah, broke my leg.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he should have said, right? Instead, he goes, "No, I took Viagra." Which I guess is just more legal, right? You just can't openly admit to taking steroids, unfortunately.
Also, Chael, after this match with Silva, Chael pops right after with high testosterone and high estrogen. I don't know. I can't remember what I was about to say.
It's phenomenal.
It's crazy.
It feels scripted, but I don't know if someone could write a script this well.
Yeah.
I don't know.
One of my favorite matches. Just saying.
Yeah. That's all we're trying to say. It's a good fight. You got a website?
Taipei BJJ is the website.
It's .com.